Hi, everyone. So, you know that one question we all got as kids? What do you want to be when you grow up? I knew exactly what to say. A doctor. Now, 30 years later, the result should be obvious. But there is something my husband always says about South Asian families, that in our families, you're either a doctor, an engineer, or a disappointment. Now, trust me, he should know. Now, I clearly landed in that last category, but the curious part is, these categories are not mutually exclusive. As my husband follows up his previous remarks with, and I have a distinction of being doctor and a disappointment. Needless to say, we fell in love, have been happy disappointments together ever since. Isn't it ironic though? Doctor or not a doctor, we still fail to disappoint the disappointment itself. As in our lives, we constantly are competing against each other to seek respect and influence. And this involves positioning or ranking ourselves in relation to others. All this for feeling worthy enough to create and nurture connections based on love and care. Now, these notions of ranking and linking are omnipresent in our lives. And we are taught that we must be in higher position to be able to facilitate our links and nurture their growth until they become independent. To understand it better, let's look at this amazing, majestic walnut tree. It is strong, and it provides shade. It's green. Don't we all want to be the same support for our families? Don't we all want to give the best to our families and our careers? So we compete. We compete to be that strong and handsome walnut tree, to win the love of our life, the hearts of our family, and respect of our peers. We compete in school for grades. We compete at workplace for promotions, regardless of how much anxiety ensues. That anxiety. What does it all mean? That we are competing against each other, even though our goals are aligned? In today's hyper-connected world, what should have been a better future has been replaced by a sense of constant stress and a relentless cycle of guilt, shame, and fear. I'm sure we all have asked this question to ourselves quietly and secretly, that am I good enough or am I a disappointment? What do others think of me? What if I fail? These questions haunt us day and night, ultimately overwhelming our sense of self. As Dr. Elaine Aron eloquently puts out in her book, The Undervalued Self, that our human experiences are shaped by self-conscious emotions that dictate our behavior around others. These self-conscious emotions of pride, guilt, anxiety, shame color our experiences and perception of self-worth. And our self-worth in turn is heavily influenced by success in competing with others. And what defines that success? Graduating from top colleges, having hefty bank accounts, and nowadays, of course, our mental health status, as we wear it as a badge of honor for surviving all these races and competitions without losing our sanity. Last year, during a relation communication class, a fellow student remarked, "So I had to be in a PhD program to learn how my relationships work?" We all laughed, but the comment stuck with me. It made me pause for a minute to process the depth of our reality. Every day, we connect and bond, developing relationships, familial, professional, romantic, without actively reflecting on our lives and wondering how we are building and nurturing them. We live, work, and grow in social settings, yet we rarely pause to question whether the socialization approaches we have inherited are the best or even adequate. Are they genuinely serving us? Or there are other ways to live, love, and care. This race of ranking and positions is so contagious and toxic that with each generation we pass it down with higher magnitude. As our families expand, the magnitude of shame, guilt, and fear expands. Our responsibilities towards previous and future generations increases. The road gets very complex as we grow into our roles and expectations. Well, in my case, my thoughts incapacitated me, that I was sure that I am not doing things the right way, that I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough mother, my husband was not doctor enough, and my girls will be lost in this new world. Now let's go back to that green, lush walnut tree. Above the surface, it is impressive. However, looking beneath that surface, we will find something different. Walnut tree roots actually emit toxic chemicals, making soil so poisonous that it's impossible for many plants to grow in its periphery. When we train young minds to compete against each other instead of nurturing the mindset of compassion and self-growth, we seed walnut trees. This does project in their companionship, their mentor-mentee relationship, and even in their parenting. And guess what? You become what you dread the most. The same happened to me when I saw my 5-year-old going around like a bird instead of being a soccer player, instead of making goals. What happened? I snapped. I got upset with her, yelled at my husband, and told him that we are failing her and we are letting her make fun of herself in front of her friends and peers. Basically, she's going to lose the respect which we are building towards. At that moment, if that wouldn't have been that mother of another soccer player who walked towards me with a big smile and told me how contagious Romana's energy and enthusiasm is, and how much joy and energy she is bringing to the field, I wouldn't have been able to snap out of that walnut tree moment. Instead of constantly competing with others and putting ourselves, our children, and our academics under the pressure of fitting into specific molds of success, can we slowly step back and focus on companionship? Can we pause for a minute and embrace the actual purpose of education? Can we take a moment to connect and grow together? As some gardeners practice companion planting, placing certain plants and vegetables near each other, so one or the both plants can take benefit out of it and improve and grow together. Among these companion plants, marigolds are considered one of the best. It offers protection to the wide variety of plants against pests and harmful weeds. They make soil so fertile and nurture the plants in its periphery, making growth impressive, healthier, friendly, making a beautiful garden instead of standing alone like a walnut tree. So our innate desire to connect with others, known as linking, is essential for building meaningful and healthy relationships. And this, in essence, is being a marigold. If the supply of love and comfort is cut off, the whole system destabilizes, leaving emotional wounds. And these wounds can fester and impact us for a long time. We unknowingly perpetuate the cycle, especially as parents and teachers. We define the whole next generation. We can either hand over the present of generational trauma, fears, and unhealed souls, or we could take charge of ourselves and make a commitment to being kinder to ourselves and work on ourselves to develop self-awareness to break the cycle of generational trauma, shame, and fear. Now, that is easier said than done. This is a team effort. You will need companionship, which I found in my friends, my family, along with my daughter's schools, their teachers, my mentors who sent me the books to bounce back, read my work and gave me extensive feedback, and mothers in academia, and especially the Snowy Owls moms who found a pack of support system for each other. Ranking and linking are always with us. Sometimes we are conscious of these activities, and sometimes we are not. Either way, ranking and linking play a role in almost all our personal relationships and problems, including the problem of undervaluing ourselves. I'm lucky to find mentors who introduced me to the practice of reflexivity and enabled me to encounter my amazing talent of undervaluing myself through poetic inquiry and reflective journaling. We get so focused on navigating our rank and identity in the world that the powerful forces of positioning take over our need for connection and linking. Positioning is about where we stand in relation to others, while connection, on the other hand, is about belonging, finding security and meaning through affection, care, and love. These forces are constant companions and shadows everywhere, shaping our behaviors, influencing our actions, and defining our relationships. Now, without the tools to understand and manage the shadows of guilt, shame, and fear, these dynamics can immobilize us, convincing us of not being enough, setting us up for failure on our own set of standards. That's where words can make or break you, based on the company we surround ourselves with. Sometimes we see lush green trees with cool shade and fruit standing tall, inspiring the world with its power and charm and strength. But in our naive state of mind, we might miss the unhealed wounds endured by them, just like a walnut tree standing alone. It's majestic, but still alone, making soil toxic in its periphery for other birds, seeds, and plants. So, it's time to remind ourselves, we are not here to please the world. This world has not forgiven the saints and prophets. Who are we? Just human? We are just human. But as my father always says, what can you do about it? Be kind and keep moving. No matter how hard you try, you can't make everyone happy. So, surround yourself with companions, not dictators, marigolds, not walnut trees. And remember, asking for help is not a weakness, it's a strength. It's a path of healing and a way to turn around. Thank you so much.